Hi out there, this is Kelly with Peachy, San Diego Design Week, folks. I'm so excited to bring you one of my superstars that I've met in the last few months, Tori Lee, co-owner of Cafe Moto down here in Barrio Logan, San Diego. So
Thank
nice
you,
to have
yes,
you.
welcome. Welcome to the roastery.
Yes, it's just gorgeous here. They're amazing at branding. They've done so much creative work too through this COVID time. I was just telling Tori how impressed I was with everything that you're doing
Well,
out there.
thanks
So
again.
if
Appreciate
you get a
it.
chance, come down and see it. So how long has Cafe Moto been in San Diego now, altogether?
Since 1990,
1990,
so
wow, yeah.
20,
and you're
20,
serving
30 years
hundreds of
now.
other venues, hotels, restaurants. You've been for a very long time.
That's the plan, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, our main business is to other business to business. We don't have hardly any really corporate type national distribution type of accounts. It's all very much business to business. And
I've seen your coffee in Little Italy and Coronado, all over the county. When I walk into a restaurant, it's really easy to spot those yellow.
oh yeah, we're
there.
very fortunate with that.
But today I really wanted to focus on something really that I think is part of also the San Diego experience and what we want people to feel and understand about San Diego when they come here. And it's part of the values that we have. Cafe Moto has done some great work in the area. I know that it was an evolution for you. The turning point was really when you and your wife, Kim, had kids. So talk to me about how that perspective changed, influenced the operations for Cafe Moto.
Thank you, and again, welcome. Yeah, we had been operating. We bought the business from my mother and stepfather who had started it, and I was working there. And Kim had another business that she sold, and then we bought the coffee roasting business when my folks were ready to retire. That gave us a certain level of nervousness and freedom, though I think at the same time. And then when our first daughter was born. That's, I think, was really one of the triggers, like you mentioned, because then it wasn't so much just about us and the business and the staff and the things like that. So we started to say, hey, well, what is this business, and why don't we apply the values that we would like to have, to the business as well, and kind of marry those two things and drive the business in that manner. So sustainability, being a long-time California resident and things like that, sustainability is certainly not a new concept. I understand it a little bit. And then when things became not just for me or for Kim, and it was for now this future generation, the easy justification was, well, we're doing it for the kids. It's not really for us. Like, we're going to move along, and the kids will be the ones that will inherit some of the sustainability.
So Tori, there are a few things that stand out. Maybe if you could talk us through one, the solar panels and the way the roastery is running on solar power, and also how you source your coffee, where you're sourcing it from, and why you do that, and then maybe also talk to us a little bit about some of the materials that you use here and the furniture and how you repurpose those.
Yeah, sure. So we moved into this facility about 15 years ago now, and we were in a facility over across town and the density, and so we were able to move into this place. And I talked to my friend who was a solar guy, and I said, what would it take? We want to put some solar on, save money, and make the sustainability effort. And he gave me a quote for a number that would accommodate all the electrical needs, and it was a really big number. And we didn't really have that much money at the time, so he was able to coordinate a solar power purchase agreement. So the panels got installed and owned by another company. We agreed to lease the roof at no charge and insure it, and then buy the electricity that produced. So we were able then to accommodate, I think it's 30,000 or 30 kilowatts of electricity from the 105 solar panels that we had.
So the solar panel is also powering the cafe?
Yeah, we installed, so the solar power system accommodates the electrical needs for the roastery, for all the bagging equipment. We added just last year a additional water heater that's also a solar loop type system. There was a rebate that helped a little bit, but basically we needed for cleaning more hot water, so we added that. That was one of the elements when we were building, the building and moving into here. We needed to address the roof and, some of the logistics with the doors and windows, and we added exits and like this handicap ramp and things like that were pieces. This is actually like 4 different buildings kind of all merged into one from the previous owner. So some of these windows you'll see came from the shipyard that they were demolishing down the street, and we were able to, acquire those and paint them. And a lot of these big heavy fireproof doors came from a gentleman that actually was driving by, and he's like, "Hey, you guys doing some construction?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you need some doors?" He's like, "Yeah, we need some doors." It's like, "Well, I'm doing this job," and he gave me some doors. And so we're able to, buy and or acquire pieces to build the space. And so some of the spaces are kind of built in a way to use the materials we had. Definitely easier said than done. The contractor doesn't like repurposing because that's not typical and normal, and so there's an expense when you do that. There's sort of a trade-off in a way. So that was a learning curve, but we just pushed forward, and where we could, we would try to use materials that were either earth friendly or sustainable, or that we had acquired or repurposed, because I think that some of the industrial materials and things we've used do add a character, and they do kind of align with the theme of the factory and the Willy Wonka-ness. And so when we were buying coffee, we try to approach it in a similar way, where who are we buying this coffee from? What kind of values and things do they have? What is this group? And is the coffee good, and is it consistent and reliable? And are they nice people? And so there's various filters that we would put on it. Since about 2001, we've been a member of the Fair Trade organization. And so Fair Trade itself has a number of components for sustainability and gender equity and things. And then when we had applied that to our own home life, I have 2 daughters, and so I would certainly want them to have fair wages and a seat at the table and be able to lean in and be heard and all that kind of stuff. And so we would buy these coffees and try to institute some of this gender equity with the theory or the idea, and maybe it's far-fetched, but if we could influence gender equity in Nicaragua or in Guatemala or Ethiopia or somewhere, then maybe globally there might be a trickle-down or a butterfly effect that my own 2 daughters here in the States would have, an equal share in their corporate life. So, and it seems to be working. I mean, when I ask some of these women farmers, about their coffee, I go, "What was it like before and after?" And their eyes light up, and they're just like, wow, it's just like having a secure fair trade type of contract. It gives us this accessibility and access to credit and the benefits of that type of a contract. So the premiums that we're paying on our end, that yes, do ultimately get passed on the consumer, but the value chain is such that it's just not that expensive from where we sit in Southern California. So this is the women's cooperative, the Flagler, Nevada, this group. And again, it's a Northern Colombia organic fair trade certified coffee from a women's cooperative, and it's again one of those sort of empowerment. And there was a civil war in most all these countries where a lot of the men and boys were, I think the quote was, disappeared. So either kidnapped or killed, or they left, or they went to the States to go make money, to send money back, things like that. So a lot of times these women are left, with the farm. They can't even own the land, or they couldn't until more recently. They couldn't even own the land, but yet here they are with the land. So Southern California. So we can get this amazing product. The integrity is all there. It's, oftentimes will be organic and fair trade. The flavor is good, it's consistent. We can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Fatima, what's going on?" We've done other programs. We've done art supplies and training things down in Origin, where we can offset some of the costs of those programs and give them access to things through some percentage of proceeds of the sale of the coffee. And so, we're time of COVID, we're bringing in some masks, and so the masks we're bringing in are from a fair trade cooperative in Guatemala. So they're lovely embroidery and all colorful, and they're very, you know, characteristically beautiful in my opinion, and they have this other benefit. That, you know, that's the sustainability effort. Like I said, I mean, part of it is just practicality, part of it is, you know, knowledge and understanding and education. I certainly don't have all the answers.
But it's nice to know that you're a business with the conscience out there, and I think that's a takeaway for a lot of small business owners or even designers out there, is thinking about doing it. It doesn't always mean it's going to be less expensive or easy. Might cost more, but in the long run, you're making a bigger impact, and step by step, you're building a business that stands behind what you believe in. And that is, I think, the most powerful thing when you're putting yourself in front of consumers. I'm just so happy
totally
that to see the great work that you're doing. I know others can learn from you. If you want to brainstorm crazy, sustainable ideas, maybe you can come chat with Tori.
I'm here every day.
I have so many. Thank you so much for your
time.
time.
Oh, sure, my pleasure. Yeah, thanks a lot for bringing it.
We appreciate you creating our San Diego experience now for
the kids.
30 years.
Right.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure, yes.
Okay. Cheers and bye, everybody.